crystal field theory mainly applied to solid compounds only. So in the solid compounds, what we are doing, so when any metal surrounded by ligands, so crystal field theory mainly deals with the coordinate covalent complexes. In this, metal surrounded by ligands with coordinate covalent bonds. Coordinate covalent bond in the sense, any ligand having tendency to donate the electron pair followed by sharing of electron pair is also possible. That is called coordinate covalent bond. So the type of complex is mainly discussed in this session, crystal field theory. So this theory was developed by uh, this theory was developed by scientist Hans Bethe and Van Vleck in 1930s. So these two scientists mainly developed this crystal field theory. So it is applied to the crystals only where metals surrounded by ligands. So first we will get the doubt why d orbitals involved in splitting. What is the process of that? What is the purpose of that? So d orbitals, we know 5 d orbitals will be there. Those 5 d orbitals are highly degenerated in state. Degenerated in the sense having similar energy. So these degenerated d orbitals, when approached by the ligand, what happens? So those ligands are used to repel the electrons present in the metal d orbitals and ligand orbitals. So electron-electron repulsions are possible. Because of that repulsions, d orbital splitting is possible. So this is the main cause for splitting of d orbitals in case of crystal field theory. Now let us see what are the silent features of crystal field theory. So already we know crystal field theory mainly deals with the bond between metal and ligand. So metal is considered as a Lewis acid. Metal is considered as Lewis acid, as well as ligand is considered as a Lewis base where electron pair is generated. And when ligand is negatively charged, those are called as point charges. So if ligand is neutral in nature, those are called point dipoles. Okay, d orbitals initially degenerated in nature. When ligand approaches, splitting of d orbitals are possible. This splitting is mainly two types. Two sets are possible. One is EG set, second is T2G set. So this is very important. EG set is nothing but doubly degenerated. Dx square minus y square and dz square orbitals will be there. These are called axial orbitals because these are present on the axis. And the second is about T2G orbitals, which are present in between the axis dxy, dyz and dzx orbitals. These are called non-axial orbitals. Okay, so T2G orbitals are non-axial. Here we represented these T2G orbitals. So where orbitals lobes, double dumbbell lobes are present in between the axis dyz, dxz and dxy. These are in between the axis, and dx square, y square, dz square orbitals along the axis orbitals are there. Now let us see one small representation which used to uh, describe this crystal field theory in d orbitals.
We all have the same energy. However, when the ligands approach the metal ion to form a complex, the electrons in the d orbitals of the metal will be repelled by the negative charge or lone pair electrons of the ligands due to the repulsion between the like charges. As a result, the energy of the d orbitals increases and the degeneracy of the d orbitals is lifted. It results in the splitting of the d orbitals. The pattern of splitting of the d orbitals depends on the number of ligands and their arrangement around the central metal atom or ion. Let's look at the application of the crystal field theory to octahedral complexes. In octahedral complexes, the metal ion is at the center of the octahedron, and the 6 ligands lie at the 6 corners of the octahedron along the 3 axes X, Y, and Z as shown here. The approach of the ligands towards the central metal ion is considered a 2-step process. In the first step, it is assumed that the ligands approach the metal ion spherically, that is, at the same distance from each d orbital. At this stage, the energy of all the d orbitals is raised by the same amount. That is, the 5 d orbitals still remain degenerate. The average value of the energy of the d orbitals at this stage is taken as 0. And this is called the barycenter. However, out of the 5 d orbitals, 2, that is, the dx square minus y square and dz square orbitals, which are collectively known as the EG set of orbitals, are oriented along the axes towards the direction of the ligands. Thus, the EG set of orbitals will experience more repulsion than the remaining 3 d orbitals. That is, the dxy, dxz, and dyz orbitals, which lie in between the axes. These 3 d orbitals are collectively known as the d2g set of orbitals. Consequently, the energy of the EG set of orbitals increases, while that of the d2g set decreases relative to the average energy in the spherical crystal field. Thus, under the influence of the ligands, the degeneracy of the 5 d orbitals of the metal ion is lost, and they are split into 2 groups of different energies. This effect is known as crystal field splitting. Field strength of the ligand and charge on the metal are different metals, and this series is called the spectrochemical series. It is an experimentally determined series based on the absorption of light by complexes with different ligands. Now, let's assign electrons in the d orbitals of the metal ion with d4 configuration in the octahedral coordination entities. Obviously, the first
Now it is about crystal field splitting in tetrahedral complex. Let us see tetrahedral crystal field splitting now.
complex. The approach of the ligands in a tetrahedral field is as shown in the figure. You can observe from the figure that the ligands interact more with the T2G orbitals than the EG orbitals lying between the axes. This is because the T2G orbitals are oriented along the direction of the approach of the ligands. Thus, in tetrahedral splitting, the T2G orbitals are of higher energy, and the 2 EG orbitals are of lower energy. you can see that the d orbital splitting in tetrahedral geometry is exactly the reverse of octahedral splitting. Crystal field splitting in tetrahedral complexes, which is denoted by delta T, is smaller than that of octahedral complexes. The difference in energy can be represented by delta T is equal to 4 by 9 times of octahedral splitting. This splitting energy is not large enough to force the electrons to get paired up. Thus, low spin configurations are rarely observed.
Okay, so this is about crystal field splitting in case of octahedral and tetrahedral. The main difference is in case of octahedral splitting, what happens? Ligand is approaching along the axis. That's the reason why along the axis orbital energies will be raised. So dx square minus y square and dz square orbital energy will be more, and dxy dyz dzx orbital energy will be low. So this is for octahedral splitting. When we are going for tetrahedral, in case of tetrahedral, the condition is the ligands are approaching along in between the axis. Ligand when approaches in between the axis, in between orbital energy will be raised. That's why dxy, dyz, dzx and orbitals will coming up, and dx square minus y square, dz square orbitals energy will be lowered. So that's why these orbitals energy, because they are experiencing less repulsions. Okay, so that's the reason why EG orbitals are down and T2G orbitals are coming up. So this is about tetrahedral, and already we know tetrahedral splitting energy is less than octahedral splitting energy. Tetrahedral splitting energy is equal to 4 by 9 delta O. So this is very less compared to octahedral. Hence, always tetrahedral splitting leads to formation of high spin complexes. High spin complexes in the sense, high spin, low spin complexes will be there. So high spin complexes in the sense, when we are filling electrons in the orbitals, so if electrons are filled, so let us go to this splitting pattern so that we can understand what is high spin and low spin. Here we have dx square minus y square and dz square orbitals at the bottom. Okay, so two orbitals are there. What happens when we are giving, when we have three electrons in the d orbital? Here one electron, here one electron, then third electron will not be paired in this. Third electron enters into this T2G orbital instead pairing in this EG orbital. So that is called high spin complex. Low spin complex in the sense, the third electron enters into this EG orbital only. Now one of the orbital have two paired electrons, second orbital have one unpaired electron. In case of D3 system, we are considering D3 system, for example. High spin complex of D3 complex, D3 system is one electron, two electron, second electron, and third electron enters into this T2G orbital. That is high spin. In case of low spin, here first electron, second electron, and even third electron is also entered into this what EG orbital only. Okay, so if pairing is possible, that is called a low spin complex. If pairing is not possible, that is called a high spin complex. Tetrahedral complexes are mostly high spin complexes only because there is no pairing is possible, as their tetrahedral splitting energy is small. That means this energy gap will be small. This energy gap between the EG and the T2G orbitals will be small. That's the reason why, sorry. Yes. So splitting energy is small. That's the reason why here it is appearing like a so small energy gaps. Hence, pairing of electrons are not possible. Easily, electrons are excited from what Eg energy level to T2G energy level. And these two are the examples for tetrahedral complexes. One is nickel tetracarbonyl. Second is nickel tetrachloride anion. Nickel tetrachloride anion is also another example for this what tetrahedral splitting. So this is the main difference between octahedral and tetrahedral complexes. Now let us discuss about this crystal field splitting in case of square planar complexes. Crystal field splitting in case of square planar complexes. Square planar complex coordination number is 4. Coordination number in the sense around the central metal, 4 ligands are arranged in the square. 4 ligands will be there in the square, and the hybridization of the central metal will be dsp2 hybridization. It exists in dsp2 hybridization, and coordination number is 4. Especially the metals rhodium, iridium, palladium, platinum, rhodium. These are the metals are more preferable to exist in this square planar complex geometry. The best and most widely applied coordination complex is platinum Cl2NH3 taken twice. It exists in this central metal is the platinum. Two green color balls we can indicate as a chlorine atoms, and these two are the NH3 functional groups. This is called cisplatin. Cisplatin is the efficient anti-cancer agent, anti-tumor agent it is, which exists in this square planar geometry. So this is a simple example for square planar complex. Now let us see square planar complexes. So the relation between octahedral and the square planar complex is when we remove two ligands from the octahedral complex, now it is converted into square planar complex. So Z coordinate ligands, two Z coordinate ligands when removed, the ligands which are laying in the plane, XY plane, these ligands only present in this. Hence it is 4 coordinated complex, square planar complex it is. In square planar complex, here the important condition is ligand is approaching the central metal along the XY axis. This term we have to remember. In octahedral complex, ligand is approaching simple axis only, along the axis only. So in case of in case of tetrahedral complex, ligand is approaching in between the axis. But in case of square planar complex, ligand is approaching the metal along the XY axis only. That's why the ligands which are laying, the orbitals which are laying in the XY plane experiences much repulsions. That's why XY plane orbital energy will be prized. So this is about square planar complex splitting. So it's a very important thing. So let us go with this. So square planar splitting in case of uh, metal orbitals, initially d orbitals are all degenerated. So when ligand is approaching, Eg orbital energy will be raised and T2G orbital energy will be lowered. So this orbital representation will be there. Where it is? So this orbital representation is there. Eg orbital energy is more and T2G orbital energy will be low. What happens? The ligand is approaching along XY plane. That's why. So dx square and dx square minus y square orbital energy will be more. So these orbitals energy rises and z square orbital energy will be lowered. So d z square orbital energy will be lowered here. So whereas T2G orbitals also involved in further splitting. So dxy orbitals are somewhat more repulsions because xy, even though these orbitals are in between, but still experiences repulsions with ligand because ligand is approaching through the xy plane. So dxy orbital energy will be raised and dyz dzx orbital energy will be lowered. And further, segregation of orbitals are possible. Highest energy level will be dx square minus y square, because along the axis and the x and y orbitals are there. That's why these experiencing highest energy repulsions. And the second energy level will be dxy, because these are in between the axis but still xy plane. These orbitals are in between xy plane. That's why these orbital energy laying in the second most preferable position. And dz square orbital energy will be lower with respect to this dxy, and the least will be dyz and zx, because so these are in between the axis and these are not experiencing any repulsions, because these are in d in between dyz and dzx orbitals. That's why lower repulsions will be there. The final arrangement of orbitals will be dx square minus y square, dxy, dz square, followed by dyz and zx. This is about the representation of what square planar splitting. Now, within the single structure, it is possible to represent all three types of splitting. One is octahedral, second is tetrahedral, third is square planar. Let us go with this. The central phi dots indicates pi d orbitals present in the metal. When we are going with octahedral splitting, this is about octahedral splitting. So octahedral T2G orbitals are up, EG orbitals are down. T2G orbitals are dx square minus y square and dz square. EG orbitals are dx square minus y square and dz square. T2G are dxy, dyz and dzx orbitals will be there. This energy gap is given as delta octahedral, and this is called octahedral splitting. Now let us discuss about tetrahedral splitting. So when ligand approaches, T2G orbitals are going up, dxy is equal to dxy is equal to dyz is equal to dzx. These orbitals energy will be equal, and this will be high with respect to Eg orbital. Eg orbitals are laying down. This energy gap is given as delta tetrahedral. This delta tetrahedral is smaller than delta octahedral. Delta tetrahedral is equal to 4 by 9 delta octahedral. So this is about octahedral and tetrahedral. Now let us go to square planar splitting. Where square planar splitting, again Eg orbitals are splitting into dx square minus y square higher energy level, dz square orbital lower energy level, and these T2G orbitals again dxy orbital energy will be raised, dyz and zx orbital energy will be lowered. So this is about the representation of three type of complexes like octahedral, tetrahedral, and square planar complex. Now, let us see the example. Just we saw one of the example, that is cisplatin, which is anti-cancer agent, and this is another example for this square planar complex. Platinum surrounded by chelating ligand. En stands for ethylene diamine. This is one ethylene diamine. This is another ethylene diamine. Ethylene diamine in the sense NH2, CH2, CH2, NH2. Here, two nitrogens are donating electrons to this platinum, hence it is called chelate. The ligand which able to form such cyclic compound is called chelate. Here one ethylene diamine group is there, here another ethylene diamine group is there. This is a simple example for uh, this is a simple example for square planar complex. Within the plane, these four ligands are laying. So platinum complex, it is ethylene diamine platinum plus 2 complex. And here is the interrelation between square planar and octahedral splitting. Delta square planar is equal to 1.74 delta octahedral splitting. So this is about the energy. Delta square planar energy is equal to 1.74 delta octahedral energy. So we discussed about three types of energy splitting in case of octahedral, tetrahedral, and square planar. Now let us see what are the important factors which are influencing this crystal field splitting. Charge on the metal. When we go with the charge, so here When we are taking vanadium H2O taken 6 plus 2, vanadium have plus 2 charge, and here vanadium same, so same complex, but what we are doing, we are changing the charge, vanadium plus 3. Here vanadium plus 2, here vanadium plus 3 is there. That's the reason why as the charge increases, what happens? Crystal field splitting energy also increases. That is the final conclusion. In case of vanadium plus 2, we have 11,800 centimeter inverse of octahedral splitting energy, whereas plus 3 have 17,850 centimeter inverse. So that means as the charge and the metal increases, what happens? That will have more tendency to bind with ligand. That's why splitting pattern will be increased. Splitting will be more in case of that complex. And second is about principal quantum number. Principal quantum number in the sense, when we go with crystal field splitting energy in 3D series, d orbitals, so d block elements are present in 3 periods, 3D, 4D and 5D series will be there. That means d orbitals having outer shell electrons in 3D shell, 4D shell and 5D shell. As we are moving down, their crystal field splitting energy also gradually increases. Okay, from top to bottom, what happens? So as we are descending down in the group, what happens? Their crystal field energy also increases. So in the periodic table, same charge and same ligand, magnitude of delta O increases with increasing principal quantum number. So when we go with this cobalt to rhodium, so cobalt is the complex of 3D series. When we go for rhodium, it is 4D series. So cobalt 3D series 22,900, whereas rhodium series 34,100 will be there. So that is nothing but 3D to 4D. This crystal field energy also increases. This is about principal quantum number. Principal quantum number is nothing but KLMN, like that, R1, 2, 3, 4. So here third shell, fourth, fourth series will be there. As we are descending, what happens? Crystal field splitting energy also increases. And next is about nature of ligand. Nature of ligand in the sense, when we are going with the ligand, what happens? Their crystal field splitting energy is varied. That effect of ligand on the crystal field energy is called spectrochemical series. Spectrochemical series is nothing but based on the strength of ligand, all the ligands arranged in a single series. So in this, carbonyl group is in topmost position, next is cyano group, next is nitrite, ethylene diamine, ammonia, SCN is called thiocyanate, next is about water molecule, oxalate ion is there, then OH minus, F minus, acetate ion, followed by halides, chloride, bromide, iodide ions are there. All these ligands arranged in their what? All the ligands are arranged in their increasing energy level, which is called spectrochemical series. This spectrochemical series is also given for short answer question. So what happens? So different ligands have different splitting energy. So as the strength increases, as the strength of ligand increases, crystal field energy is also increased. So this is about crystal field energy revision for today. Tomorrow we will discuss about water and its treatment. So this is the end of our session. If anybody have doubt, you can raise.